Good afternoon, all. My name is Mehul Patel. I am naturalist and environment educator at VNC. I'll introduce Jignesh Patel. He is an executive trustee of VNC. He is also secretary of Charotar Gramoddar Sahakari Mandali and trustee of Bhaitaka Foundation. We have Anirudh Vasawa. He is research coordinator at VNC and also member of various groups of IUCN. Let's start with Jignesh Patel. Tell me about VNC. What is VNC?
Well, VNC, it is Voluntary Nature Conservancy, and it formerly known as Vidyanagar Nature Club. It was started by a youthful lad in his school who had a passion for nature, and he wanted to see nature in its own way, and he started with his like-minded friends to go around in a vicinity of Vidyanagar area, where we are fortunate to have a very lush green environment with a very good rainfall, and so we have wetlands and very good bird life. So he used to take his friends around to see for bird watching and all those things, and that's where how it all started. And then they started going to the various jungles and mountains and all those trekking programs and all those things, and that's where the Vidyanagar Nature Club started. And along this journey, like-minded people joined him. Mostly it is run through volunteers throughout. At any given time, we have around 150 volunteers who are supporting the cause of voluntary nature conservancy, of environmental education and conservation. And now we have reached a level where it has gained a very good recognition in the local area, in Gujarat and in India as well, and internationally as well.
So tell me about more about VNC. Right now, where VNC stands at international level.
Well, over a period of time, the main managing trustee, Mr. Dhaval Patel, through his work, he got his recognition around all this nature and conservation faculties and community around the world. And he was also a couple of times, more than 3-4 times, invited by the government of Japan as well for its environmental programs. And from there, many scholars and many students, research fellows from Europe and America who used to visit VNC for the how the grassroots work is done over here. And right now, at the IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature, which was founded in France and now it's based in Switzerland. So they have recognized VNC's program of crocodile conservation in the local Charotar area. Charotar has a very healthy breeding population of crocodiles in its wetlands around the villages, and every year, of twice a year, we do the research and we do the counting and all those things. And most of the volunteers that participate in this activity are the university students from all over the India, and then we go through the process of scanning them, and then they come down to our place, and then for 3 days the whole program goes on. And that's where we also invite distinguished conservationists from around India, people like Bittu Saigal of Century Asia, very big name, people like Romulus Whittaker, Padma Shri, from Madras Crocodile Bank, people like Sir John, and then we had other scholars coming from UK, Mr. Simon Pooley and all those guys. So they come down and they help us and they give their feedback, and they are very much impressed. The reports that are prepared during this research activity are uploaded by the IUCN on the website, which is seen all over the world. The reports are shared with most of the crocodile conservation community around the world, and it is highly appreciated. So one of the same kind of project is now being in the implementation process in Baileys, where it has a very healthy population of crocodile as well. So that's a very proud moment for VNC and its team, that something that was originated in VNC has been now replicated somewhere else in the world, in Belize, that is Latin America. So over a period of time, the journey has been very good, and we have grown, we have learned, we are still learning, and there is a lot of volunteers who are with dedicated and passionate volunteers who are giving their support. We have generous donors from local industry and community, and we also have a donors from America and UK as well. So that's how the whole organization is running.
So tell me, Jignesh bhai, about VNC's main activities.
VNC is mostly into conservation, awareness, education, and research. And we have so many projects going around across Gujarat, including the Wolf project in Kutch. We have an Owlet project in South Gujarat, particularly in Dang area. We have a sparrow conservation project around the Charotar and the central Gujarat region as well. And we have a spider identifying project as well. Well, you are one of our expert in the spider identification. Like, you can almost identify more than 400 spiders. So this has been catalogued within the VNC's overall work, and this is what we do, particularly conservation and awareness, particularly education programs as well. And we have been very active with the school level at right from the very young age with the kids, sensitizing them about the awareness of nature and conservation and wildlife. And with our crocodile project, as we have done that right from the very young age in the villages where the crocodiles are residing in the ponds, those kids are being sensitized by our volunteers through VNC. So to make them aware of how important a crocodile is, and that's where they will grow up with that impression and that imagination to protect the crocodile at any cost, So these are the things that we implement at a very grassroots level, and we are getting very encouraging results from this kind of implementation of projects.
And VNC does the Greenathon also to promote and conserve the greenery of the Charotar.
Yeah. So Greenathon project is one kind of hallmark of VNC that has given its recognition within the urban areas, and it has been very famous, and where most of the young kids and young youth population and old people come to Vidyanagar. We do it on the first Saturday of the February every year, and there are more than 500-600 participations with the skating events and with the running events and with the cycling events, and the whole environment is so filled with fun and enjoyment. And then we are also giving them awareness programs as well through these collective measures. So it has been a very great success, and people look forward to it. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it last year because of the COVID. Well, we don't know what will be the situation next year now. So let's hope we can do it then.
That's good. I would like to ask Niruddh Wasawa, how crocodile conservation started in this Charotar region by VNC.
Okay, so it's an interesting story as such right now. So I used to work with Wildlife Institute of India from 2009, and I stayed there till 2012. So I was on my leave and I was visiting Dhawal Patel. So he told me that, Anirudh, there is a very good place. I don't know if you have heard of this place or not. Okay, so we have this population of crocodiles in Charotar, and especially he mentioned the name of a Deva village, right? So he said it's a place worth seeing. I think you will like it. I said I actually at that time I had traveled throughout all over India actually. I had almost traveled to more than 15 national parks and tiger reserves actually, a lot of sanctuaries of course. So I had seen a lot of things, even very cryptic creatures also, people that have not seen in the wild. So I said, okay, what is so interesting? Let's see and go and see what is so interesting in such village. Okay, so I think me, you and Vishal got together and went there, right? You remember, if you remember. And we saw that kids were playing cricket, right? And so one of the kids who had batted the ball, and the ball was lying very near to that crocodile, okay? So we were afraid, remember, like what will happen to that kid, no? Yeah. So it was...
There was a den and...
Yes, exactly. And we asked that kid at like, why you're not afraid? And that kid said that, okay, this is a regular thing, and this crocodile is not going to do anything to me. See, I've seen throughout India, I have met people who live in national parks and tiger reserve. Okay, everybody hates wildlife. Okay, elephants, they hate elephants. Tigers, they hate tigers. Leopards, okay, because they destroy their properties and human lives. But this was a place people were not afraid of a species, of a creature which doesn't look nice. You know, if you see a crocodile, it is not likable. Okay, it is scaly, very fearsome. Okay, it's ugly, but nobody likes it. But people here like it. So that was the moment I thought this is something interesting, because instead of studying wildlife in forest, okay, this is a place where we can learn things and which will be really important for conservation, right? So we discussed the project with Dhaval Bhai, and actually he said, okay, we should go on full on for this project, right? And that's how we then we wrote a proposal. Okay, we acquired funds, initial funds from Rafford Foundation. Dilip Mathai Nature Conservation Trust also provided the additional funds, and we started that project. Okay, so initially we focused on population ecology, assessing the population, understanding the habitat. Okay, also included was the understanding of human and crocodile interactions, right? So that was the human-animal interaction, crocodile-human, how they are living together. That was the most interesting aspect of what we VNC started, right? So with that programs and other research objectives, we actually gathered a lot of data. Okay, a lot of understanding came out of that research project. Okay, and once we published our findings of the crocodiles, actually a lot of people became interested in this place. International attention came to this place. Okay, what is this place? Okay, everywhere where the crocodiles are living, the people are hating it. People are killing the crocodiles. Crocodiles are killing people. Okay, there is a lot of conflict. The place like Vadodara, which is very near to Charota region, Anand, okay, like 35 kilometers from here, there is a lot of conflict. Okay, you go to Narmada region, there is a lot of conflict. But here in Charotar, there is a kind of coexistence. Okay, there few negative interaction has happened, and this attracted a lot of international attention. As Jignesh Bhai has already mentioned, that Dr. Simon Puli became very interested in this project, and he actually stayed here for almost a month to study this relationship. And so I think our results, as soon as we published our result, VNC became an institution which actually did a very wonderful work, a solid work on crocodiles. Okay, and now we stand at a place at such a time that if people want to understand crocodiles and human relation, or if you want to see VNC has become an organization, people want to collaborate. Okay, we are become a kind of people actually look up to that we should do things like VNC.
So I remember the statement given by Romulus that how this place missed by me.
Yes.
So what was that?
So as I think we all know that Romulus is considered as the father of Indian herpetology. Like he was the person who brought herpetology into main conservation concern or aspect. Okay, so he has traveled throughout India, like at very different parts of. If you read his books, written by his ex-wife and current Janki also. Okay, so he has traveled throughout India and different parts of India. Okay, so he is considered as the person who has seen everything actually in India. Yeah. Okay, but if he has missed this place, that means I think not only Romulus, I think a lot of scientists missed crocodile here actually. If we don't have a published data on crocodiles from any of the earlier studies. Okay, it's only when we started collecting data that it became clear there is a good population of crocodiles in Charotar, right? And as our research program was moving ahead, we also thought that why not involve local people also. So we also started involving local people, local youth especially, who became interested. And if you remember, like when we started collecting data and we went to Malataj, okay, that Jilesh Patel, yes, our volunteer, okay, now he's doing
he was in school.
He was in school that time.
Now he's full-time
volunteering
with us.
Okay, so like we had these all people, youths from different villages that started working with us. And so we also got a lot of support from different local leaders, village leaders, Gram Panchayat, Sarpanch, and everybody. Okay. We also started working with the local schools. We started conducting education programs. Actually, you were the person who did all this actually, you were the stronghold of that thing. So You actually did a lot of education program. I think we did more than 45 to 50 schools that time, right? And covered more than 10,000 students under that crocodile education program. Okay, you were mentioned in Century Asia for that, right? Yeah. So anyway, so we started including the local people, the students of the school kids of the local villages. So that time we also thought that also we need to invite people, let people see this place.
Yes.
Like, there is a place like Charotar where people and crocodile actually live peacefully, coexist together.
So I remember Bharat Pathak's statement. He was once told in one documentary that protecting the protected species in protected area is very easy.
Easy.
But protecting the protected species outside the protected area,
It's very difficult.
it quite hard.
It's very hard. It's challenging, very challenging.
Because crocodile is Schedule 1 species,
Yes.
and they are in outside the protected area in Charotar. So we have started this citizen science program, as you mentioned, that we invite students. So tell me about this citizen science. What is citizen science?
Yes, yes. So as I was saying that as we were involving the local community, we also thought that why not people invite people from other places and kind of let them see this place also, experience this place. So that's how the idea of Charotar crocodile came into the place, our mind actually. So it was the idea. It is it's a citizen science. So let me tell you what is a citizen science actually. Okay. So all over the world, scientists are doing the research work, right? And it's traditionally it has been done that way only. But within last few years, there has been a very kind of new concept has come. Why not take help from kind of people, simple people, layman people, people doing different jobs, people living in different parts of the world so they can also contribute to science, to conservation or different projects. NASA runs different citizen science programs. US actually runs a lot of different citizen science program for a lot of years now. Citizen science is a very new concept in India very recently, but I think it's within last decade, a lot of institution and organization has been implementing citizen science program, where a person, irrespective of his age, education or experience or qualification, can contribute to a research thing. Okay, so in Charotar crocodile count, we invite people from all over India, irrespective of their education, anything. Okay, they come here, they stay for 2 days, they stay together, they interact with each other. Okay, then we teach them how to assess the population. They go to different villages, ponds and everything. They see the habitat, they see the landscape, they see the crocodile. Okay, not only that, we also ask them to meet the local villagers also. Okay, we ask them to interact with them, how to live, how the local people live with them, what they think about crocodiles, what is the tolerance level, how they tolerate the species. Tolerance is a very is the biggest concept. If science and conservation projects have been implemented over the world, but a lot of programs have been failed. Because they were research oriented. Okay, they were not more often kind of involving people also, local people. So unless you involve local people, the conservation project cannot be successful. So we have to teach them tolerance, and what we did in the education programs. Okay, so that's how Charotar crocodile count started, a citizen science program, and now I think it has become a very very famous program. People actually they say that I want to be part of this program. Whatever fee you will charge will come. Okay, I think till now more than 700 people have actually participated in these programs, have learned the techniques of monitoring crocodiles count, understanding people's perception. Okay, all these techniques they have learned.
And Charotar crocodile count was started with only 30 volunteers.
Yes. Long back, 30 volunteers.
VNC's volunteers.
Yes, a few volunteers, VNC volunteers, and a few outsiders. But now we have, like every year, we have 150 volunteers every year. Unfortunately, this year we could not do the program because of the COVID situation. We could not invite people from outside. But let's see if things go smoothly and things settle down. We can invite people next year. So that's how the crocodile count started.
And Dr. Vyas also helped in this project.
Yes, yeah. So
part of this project.
Absolutely.
With his guidance, we started this.
Absolutely. So I think when planning this project, we went to meet him Okay, and all we got him on the table as like the advisor of the project, and he has been a collaborator, a friend, and kind of has been helping in different projects. I think he has never said no to any of our initiative that we have want to involve him.
He's always there.
Yes, he's always there. I think he's retired, but still he is in the field. He wants to go in the field. So he has been a pillar of our crocodile conservation. And we also had a help from Soham Mukherjee also. He's been a collaborator with us for long now. So that's how we started our crocodile conservation initiative. Right?
And when lockdown started and this COVID situation happened, we started a thing called Croc Watch. So tell me about that also.
Yeah. So what is as I told you, the COVID thing has happened within 2 years. We have been suffering with this almost. So we were thinking that this year we will not be inviting people to participate in this program. Okay. So we do also this wetland watch in the summer.
Yes.
Okay. It's a kind of a crocodile count also, where we do the night counting of the crocodiles. Okay. So that time we thought, okay, this time we are not inviting people. Then how to involve people? He wanted this program was to involve people from outside. Okay, locals go and see crocodiles, but it's for the people who live outside. They don't get to see the crocodiles every day. So it was a program for them. So without involving them, it was not going to do anything, fulfill the purpose of the program. So we thought, let's do a kind of, that lot of virtual programs are ongoing. All the conferences, workshops are now online, and webinars and everything, training programs and everything is now online. So we consulted our tech team, okay, so about which the Jeet Suthar will tell you more. So we thought we have to do something that they can also participate in this program. So we devised a portal, okay, initially a website portal where people can from India, wherever they are, can contribute to data that we'll be collecting during the summer. Okay, but the idea actually grew. Okay, it was for a short term only. We thought it's a one-time program and we'll involve them for a short term only. But the idea grew. Actually, people participated a lot. People wanted such kind of program. So we thought, let's open this portal for throughout the year. Why not just for the season only? Let's open it throughout the year.
And not only for the mugger crocodiles, it's for gharials and saltwater crocodiles also.
Yeah. So that's how actually, okay, if you are opening it for the year, so why not just restrict to Gujarat? Let's open it to the India and include the other species which are also found in India, okay, the gharial and the saltwater crocodile. So we included all these 3 species, and we devised the portal, and we very recently have launched the beta version of the application that we have launched very recently, and the final version will be launched today on the 17th. Okay, today is the World Crocodile Day. Okay, we are launching the final version of the app, and so all the features and everything Jeet Suthar will tell you in detail, and how the feature works, how the application works, why we install or use those features, right? So all this will be told you by Jeet Suthar.
That's where we are planning to scale up this app to a very international level, where there is something called eBird.
Yeah.
So we are trying to scale up this app at that level. So anywhere in the world, anybody can upload the data, and that can be shared with everyone around the world. Yeah.
So not only that, actually, we have been kind of contacted by people from other countries. Okay, I wouldn't name currently unless it is until it is finalized, right? But I have been people have been sending inquiries that I want to be part of this program. Actually, can we start in our country? So for right now, we'll be for the India only. Let's see how it goes, and then we can maybe open it for other countries as well. But that's a future thing, we don't know, but that's what we plan.
And let me mention that this app and this portal is its own kind, only for the crocodiles.
Yes, this is the first of its kind in the world. Actually, nobody has done such an app for crocodiles. People have been doing some similar works, but in a very small scale. This is kind of this is a big arrow we have shot a big arrow right now.
It's a beautiful animal. It has survived the Jurassic Age.
Yes.
It's been on Earth for more than 200 million years now. But last 100 to 150 years, humans have encroached upon their habitat, and they're almost at a level where in India they are termed as Schedule 1 animal, which is threatened. So it's upon us, upon our generation, upon our future generations to protect this magnificent animal who has survived for such a long time.
Yes.
So it's up to us now. It's up to all of us throughout the world to protect this species.
And the devising of a portal had two agendas actually, right? One of the one was to involve people not from who has to come here only. People from all over the country can participate wherever they are, right? And the most important agenda was that we were using a lot of papers during the crocodile counts actually. People like 150 people coming here, 2 days staying 2 days. Okay, they like more than 1,000 papers were used during those 2 days, right? During conducting interviews, also sociological survey, also they are population counting, they are doing nest survey, they are doing habitat survey also. So a lot of paper was used. Okay, this is VNC is becoming paperless now. Okay, almost all of our work, documentation, everything is going online. Okay, and we have a target of becoming paperless within next 5 years. I think we will not be using paper within 5 years. So this fits our one of the agenda, becoming paperless. Okay, actually contributing to the conservation of environment. Okay, so it is one of the biggest thing that we are doing by using an application. We are not using paper now, right?
Overall, action speaks more.
Yes, yes. So, yeah.
Now I'll introduce Jeet. Jeet Suthar is leader of VNC's tech team and handles all VNC's technological initiatives. And we have Karan. Karan Patel is studying his engineering in IT, and he is helping tech team to design various graphics and all. So Jeet, tell me about this ProcWatch app. How did you decide to develop this app?
Yeah, so we first started with the website. So once the website was created, the concept was quite simple at the time. So there was just a single form from where users can submit their data. And eventually what people started doing is that they were submitting data from the field. So we had to add a few more features to the form. Eventually it became such a big part that for the features that we wanted to add, it seemed that mobile application is the perfect way to handle this thing. So from website we started to the mobile application part.
Well, anybody can use it.
So most of the people nowadays have smartphone, right? So website is what happens is that you'll have to log in each time to submit your data, so that the data is associated with your user base, right? Your username. So for that, when we were using the website, so when the user was submitting the form through website, they had to log in each and every time. So for that situation, it seemed that mobile is the way to go forward.
And portal also needs required the net connectivity.
Yeah. So the user will have to have internet connectivity on all the time to use the website on the mobile as well. So we have added a few more features to the mobile app, which we'll talk about in detail in the second phase of this. So that will show that how the application can work without net connectivity as well.
And who are the members of this tech team?
So I'm leading the tech team. Karan is a member. Prachi Bhatt is also a member.
Could tell me about the features of the ProcWatch app and how they are useful?
So first of all, there are two main options in the application, that is report citing and submission history. So in report citing, so as the name says, you can submit your observation, your citing details through that form. So in there, what people complain to us is that they don't have accurate location data at the time. So latitude data, lat long details they don't have at the time. So we have added a feature from where the location details will be auto fetched. So that is one of the main features, so that the user don't have to enter location manually each and every time. The second feature is that users can pinpoint their location on the map. So what happens is that when you pinpoint your location, you can accurately define where you have cited the said species, and it will automatically fetch the address line, state, city, pin code, zip code, and latitude and longitude data as well. Another feature we have added is to have ability to submit photographs along with your sighting data, so that when user has sighted a crocodile, and so that they can capture the photograph and submit with the data. So these three are the main features of sighting form. Another major feature that we have included in this application, and this is one of the reasons that we build this application, is that there is an offline sync functionality. So when user goes to the field and they try to submit the data, but they don't have net connectivity at the time, so at that time they can just submit the data will be stored offline on their device, and once the net connectivity restores, it will be automatically submitted to the server. So that is one of the biggest feature, and that was the much expected feature from the users. So yeah, we have added that feature as well.
That's fantastic.
Then there is a submission history section, which Karan will explain how it works.
In submission history, there are two types of submissions, one which are submitted by the user and other which are approved. So in submission history section, the approved entries will be shown along with the photograph that are uploaded with it.
So what are the future features of the app?
So in the future, we want to implement there are three main features. One is of data visualization and the filter. So the users can filter the data based on region or seasons and many other parameters. The second one is the user can save the entry as a draft. So if they want to make any change, they can change the data after reviewing and then submit it. And the third one is the route tracing, like when we start from one end of the pond and we go to other end. So on the way, when we spot different crocodiles, we can enter and then we can upload it as a whole.
Anything else you want to add, Jeet?
Yeah, I would just ask users to use the application and give us the feedback. There's a feedback form in the app itself, so we are open to suggestions, and there may be some aspects of the app that we may not have thought about. So yeah, we'll try to add as many features as we can. So the app is free to download. So right now the app is on Play Store, and we will soon launch the iOS version as well. So people using iPhone will soon be able to use the app within few days.
Okay, thank you very much, Jeet and Karan. Now let's see how this app can be used. This is how you can use our CrocWatch app. So there are two options, login and registered. If you haven't registered yet, please download the app and register yourself. So here are the options: report sighting, submission history, and contact us. So if you are citing for the first time and uploading your data, go to the report citing. You can select, there are two options, inside protected area and outside protected area. So if you select inside protected area, if you are citing the crocodile inside the protected area, you will have the options like state list and restricted area list. So let's take an example. We are citing the crocodile outside the protected area. So location will be auto fetch, or you can add location manually. So here it is showing auto fetch location with latitude and longitude. Here is the species dialog box, which species you have cited, mugger crocodile, saltwater crocodile, or gharial, whichever species, number of individual observed, like 1, 2, 3, 10, which type of sighting it was, only sighting, or you have seen dead animal, you have sighted by camera trap or any other. There is an option for date, time, habitat, which type of habitat it was, river, pond, canal, estuarine, sea coast, or any other location you have seen the crocodile. And then you can upload or video or photo. You can also capture photo or video from the app. You can add your photo or video from the gallery option also, or you can use the camera also, and then submit your data. So your data has been submitted. You can see your submission history also.